So initially, we've been working with the cherries for the last few years around trials for cover crops, and we've been looking at cover crops around whether they can reduce the amount of nitrogen that gets into groundwater. And it was through that conversation and the trial we had on this farm, and we started talking to them, and they were explaining to us about their event, and it just seemed to very much chime in with areas of interest that we're looking at around how we improve our catchments to improve the water environment and actually, help us produce the product that we supply to 3.5 million customers. I've been speaking to a number of other water companies today who have been attending and seeing the growing interest in the Groundswell movement. I think there is a lot of interest in understanding some of the multiple benefits that can be derived from conservation agriculture. I think every business industry sector who particularly procures a service, an ecosystem good from the environment, we are dependent on land management to work for the environment, to sustainably supply food, to help with us with our water resources and the quality of water. And I think that actually will extend just beyond the water company. It can extend through the food production supply chain. It can extend across the board. We are years of intensive agriculture. We are starting to see soil degradation. We are seeing pollution and blocking up of our rivers. I think there should be an interest from all organisations around actually how we can work with inspirational farmers like the cherries to actually improve the state of the environment, and not just that, but help support a productive agricultural sector as well. We need to be able to stand on our own 2 feet as a country. We need to, cleaner water within the water industry, a sustainable supply. Businesses, everything needs to be managed cost-wise. So I think there's a really interesting discussion, both the science of this, but also some of the principles and some of the wider benefits that I think, any organisation can tap into and learn a bit more about. People are becoming more aware that the intensive systems that are running at the moment, they are creating issues. We are suffering issues with pests, diseases, black grass, their soil degradation. I think people are seeing, if you extrapolate that over a long period of time, that we will hit a breaking point at some point. And I think every farmer that I speak to are looking at their system and looking how they can be more efficient. It's not all about yield and profitability anymore. It's actually about sustainability as well. And I think that is really driving this. Legislation helps, can sometimes be counterproductive, but I do think actually the kind of discussions, conversations that are going on at Groundswell will help to inform future legislation for environmental land management going into the future. So I think it's a combination, and that's why Affinity want to be involved in this discussion, because we're learning every day. We're starting to understand some of the benefits and potentially some of the negatives of the different practicalities of conservation agriculture and intensive farming. So it's a real opportunity to actually influence change. So I'm sure there are a lot of farmers here that are practicing conservation agriculture, but I'm also sure there are a lot of farmers here coming to learn more and see what they can take home. So I think that is growing and developing over time, and that's something we're very keen to be involved in.